the next session picks up a lot on what Wenji was just talking about. She was talking about to succeed you need great partners. And I think what you'll find from this next guy is that Hugo Boss have become great partners to the sports, music and arts world. And we're going to talk a little bit about how they partner with athletes and how they partner with talent as well, music talent as well. So please welcome to the stage for the first time the Managing Director of Hugo Boss Southeast Asia, Stephen Lam.
Thank you, Jasper.
Do you want to sit under your picture? This guy looks even better than me every day of his life.
Apparently this is the first few times that you wear a suit.
You know, everyone's kind of coming up to me, and this is not a sales, but everyone has genuinely been coming up saying, "Oh, you look great." It's like, well, what do I normally look like? Look, Stephen, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for supporting the event as well. We had a great time. We're going to come on to it in a bit, what happened on the weekend. If we could have the presentation up, please. We're going to tell the story of a global brand that behaves very much like a local brand, supporting, as I said, the sports, the music and the arts. So before we do that, what do you tell your parents you do for a living?
I tell my parents that I'm a suit salesman, and I enjoy very much what I do.
And how long have you been working for Boss?
I have been with them for 5 years.
Okay.
And I've always been in the premium luxury business. Hugo Boss is the largest menswear brand in the world, 2.9 billion in sales last year and growing. And we've had a deep history with sports, music, and the arts.
You're ready for the sales spike you're going to get with grey suits next week, right?
Yes, I hope so.
Let's drill down into the story, because it is a great story, and we got to know you over the last few weeks. First sport. Let's look at how that is working, right? How you work with the sports industry. Let's say it's a very global brand, but you also do go local as well. So let's look at some of your case histories.
Okay. Well, I think we have been in this sports sponsorship for more than 50 years, especially in F1. We've also done work with footballers, golfing in the last 30 years with Bernard Langer as our first brand ambassador. But within the company, it's a much deep-rooted. Sports has always been part of our DNA. When we did F1, soccer, but more importantly, one of my first experiences with sports people, interesting enough, was a private retreat for all the MDs in Germany, and we had a surprise appearance by David Coulthard. And what was very important about this was that it is really part of the DNA of the brand, you know, that employees and sports people and great golfers, Martin Keimer, he came to Singapore to play as well for us. You know, we get very close to these people, so it's basically a great experience for us to realize that they're just like us, pretty much.
So tell us a little bit more about your strategy. I mean, how do you look for talent? How do you work out which the right artist or sports star to work with?
Well, for us, what we do is a lot of it is honestly very organic. I think one of our key signings in Southeast Asia, obviously, was the first Olympian, Joseph Schooling. I mean, we met through mutual friends. And what was very important and very organic about this was that when we met them, one of the first questions that we had for one another was, how can we work together? It wasn't like, what can you do for me? What can I do for you? And I mean, I shared the other opposite of the spectrum. We've met some celebrities as well who were rising, and they went on to be major stars in Asia. When we first spoke to them, the second email I get from them was a price list. You know, and I think that that's the kind of stuff that we try and avoid. A lot of these sports people or people that we work with have now become friends. Our colleagues who are all sitting over there, they get very close to a lot of them. Sometimes they even party together, apparently. So Yeah, I think it's very important that we are working very closely with these people, and they're very authentic. So they would come here knowing that they really like the brand, And to us, I think that is the key message for anyone looking for sponsors or working with artists.
So they have to love the brand.
Yes. Very, very important. I mean, we had recently a new signing, which we'll go to later, Miguel over here. I mean, he was working for one of the big sports brands. We met through a mutual golfer, one of the longest drivers in Singapore. And basically, he dropped me an email and said, look, I heard from Tim that you guys are open to work with partnership. And I said, yes, we are, definitely. The second email that came from me and my family, we love Boss. When can we start? I said, wait, hold on. I think with any sponsorship, we need to know that there's obviously a good synergy. And the next week, he flew down. I mean, and he's a really good golfer. He's from Philippines. He's won on the Asian tour. He flew down, met me and Melanie over here, and we pretty much inked a deal in 2 days. So I think it's very, very important that these sports people really believe in the brand. And I can say that anyone that we work with, they're very proud, including myself, to be part of this brand.
I know this is going to be one of the themes on this chat, but you're a global brand. How important is that local part of it?
There's a lot of talk about global brands going local. We, as a company, we are quite diversified. We have very strong regions, especially in Asia. Asia is one of our biggest growth region in the world. And we champion locals. We firmly believe, and I firmly believe, that Southeast Asia is going to be the next wave. I think a lot of brands have done a lot of work with Chinese stars and sports stars. I think that the next wave is going to come from Southeast Asia. I mean, Miguel from Philippines is one of them. We are about to sign an Indonesian artist, star. My marketing team is promoting very hard for one of the top models from Myanmar to walk on our fashion show. And we have another Malaysian golf star which is on the way to join us from 1st January. Similar story like Miguel. Whole family loves Boss. And I believe that it is extremely important that we take local and we bring them global.
And you really do give them a platform, don't you? So I know we're going to talk about some of the other artists and talent and athletes you support, but what does Hugo Boss bring to the table?
What does Hugo Boss bring to the table, apart from the fact that we have 1,000 shops worldwide? We're the #1 brand in the world. We get the best retail spaces. We're very close to most of our press. You will see a little bit later that we have put Joseph Schooling, the first male in Asia, or rather the first person, a male that we put on the cover of an international women's magazine on Harper's Bazaar. And we've done the same with John Chua as well. So basically what we do is that we bring a fashion element to these sports people. I mean, I think all of you who are Singaporeans will have seen him in his Speedos, but we are the ones that put the suit on him.
And what a great suit it is.
So our new washable suit. And there's a story behind this. If I can quickly talk about Joseph. Joseph's someone that I got to know quite well, me and my team. And it was a hard sell to push him to our colleagues in Germany. I mean, for 2 reasons. One is, yes, he's our first Olympian, but more importantly, swimming was not really a sport that we've always emphasized in the company. I mean, we were looking at F1, Formula E, we were looking at golf, and the arts as well. So it was a tough sell for us. And I think by a stroke of luck, I met my CEO one day, during one of our meetings, and I said, "Look, I've got this great guy," and he said, "Who's this?" I said, "Yes, this is right now the hottest guy in Singapore. He's just won the Olympics, and I think that he's going to be a great brand ambassador because we do want to remain relevant. We want to be young. We want to be a little bit different. And he's like, who's this guy? So I showed him a picture of Joseph Schooling, and he thought for a second, yeah, but we don't do swimming. I said, yeah. I think he's extremely interesting and great demeanor. And by chance, our chief sales officer looked at the picture and go, I know this guy. 2 weeks ago, he was on the cover of the Frankfurt newspaper. The little guy, the little boy that beat his hero. That's a great story. I like that. And one thing led to another. We were rushed to the marketing office, and I didn't even know this by a stroke of luck. We were launching the washable suit. So Hugo Boss has launched a washable suit, and they said, why don't we put him in the washing machine? And the suit that is. So that's how it all started. You'll get to see the video a bit later, but it's very interesting how also a stroke of luck for us and for Joseph, that because of this, he's the first Singaporean to actually front an international luxury brand in an ad campaign. This campaign, the washable suit, was being played for 2 months in all the stores, 1,000 stores around the world, and was very, very heavily promoted. And I think that it's a big coup for Singapore, it's a big coup for my team, and definitely for Joseph. And I think that it's brought him to a different level altogether, because he also announced his entry into professional sports together with Hugo Boss. And he will always now be known as the boss man of today.
We were with him the other night. He really genuinely does love the brand, doesn't he? It's not just because you were there. And I mean,
he's the perfect model for my made to measure, because he's a size 54 body, and he's a size 48. So he's a great poster boy for made to measure for sure.
I was that when I was about 14.
Sorry.
Let's have a look at the video. It's a great video.
This isn't where I belong. You'll miss waking up to the people you love. You'll miss your friends. You'll miss moms. You'll miss home. But it's the comforts you have to leave behind. That takes you back to the top. Where you belong.
And then I think we have the film for
Yes.
the washable suit.
I mean, just a quick story about this. This was the second time ever that Marina Bay Sands have actually closed the swimming pool that was shot on the top of Marina Bay Sands. And the first one was with David Beckham. So number 2 was Joseph Schooling.
You also had drones there as well. I need to find out how you did that, because we've never been able to get drones on top of Marina Bay Sands. Here's the ad.
It's your ritual. Your own rules. building the groundwork, anticipating any challenge, exceeding it effortlessly.
I mean, that's seamless integration, isn't it? I mean, you have a swimmer in a washable suit swimming in a swimming pool.
Yeah, it's
pretty
almost
cool.
like we planned it for a long time, yes.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Let's move away from sport. By the way, if we have time at the end, we're going to throw it to any questions you have for Stephen. But we're going to just touch on your support of the arts, and then we're going to move into music. But you support the arts. Tell me about Hugo Boss and how you work with the arts.
Well, we have a two-brand strategy. I mean, it used to be a few more brands. We have Boss with Hugo. And our CEO, the last 4 years, felt that it was very important, and arts is also something that we've been promoting for a long time. So the New York partnership with Guggenheim Museum in 1995, thereabouts, was our belief that apart from doing sports, we will also need to be closer to some of our clients and be part of the lifestyles they're in. Obviously, some of them are art collectors, they appreciate art. So we've established an art prize in New York, 2013 thereabouts. We did one for Shanghai. We are always on the lookout. I mean, we've had quite a few chats with the Singapore Arts Museum. So we're always exploring, and I think in Jakarta, Indonesia is becoming a big arts hub as well. So it is part of the Boss DNA together. Sports and music is part of the DNA of Hugo, which we will touch on a little bit later. Yes.
Sure. So we are going to talk about music now, and again, you have a very similar strategy as you do with sport, to go global, but also focus on local as well. So tell us a little bit about this guy and what you do globally.
Okay, Hugo, it's our contemporary line, which is a little bit more edgy. I always say that it is the rebellious son of the boss guy. He has tattoos, so we ensure that our HR knows that when we hire people, they either have pink hair, tattoos, or a bad attitude like him. So what we did was we were looking around for a person for the region, and we invited the Sam Willows to our fashion show last year, May, where Joseph was walking the fashion show. It was a global show, so we have Chris Hemsworth and quite a lot of movie stars come to Singapore. And we were introduced, interestingly, to the Sam Willows. But what was very exciting was that we met a guy called John Chua. And my marketing colleagues were raving about this guy. Apart from the fact that, he's obviously good looking, he sings well. More importantly, he was starting out on his own. He was building a new producing career. He was about to launch a new record label, Zendel, with Sony. And it was a natural partnership with John Chua. We put him on the cover of Men's Folio, and this is the power of our brand. We're able to bring the fashion element. Obviously he'll be someone that's very successful with the entertainment industry. But this is where we put our stamp of authority and said we are the best menswear brand, and we're behind this guy. So we brought him into our fold. We supported all his causes. I think we've done 3-4 concerts now with him. He was someone that was discovered by Music Matters. Thank you. And more importantly, how long ago? 6 years ago?
6 or 7 years, yeah.
6 or 7 years ago, yeah. So he came to us and said, look, I would like to support the local talent. So I would like to do a series of these concerts, and we will promote a lot of these local acts. And honestly, last Saturday I was at the event at Clarke Quay, and I was like, wow, we've got really good talent in Singapore. I think I was very impressed with some of the acts you can see over here. So there's a guy called Lion City Boy, and you know, and it was impressive. We'll show you the video in a little bit, but I think that apart from the partnership for music, what we liked to do with him, or what we liked about him, was the fact that he was actually promoting the local music scene, and like myself, I'm a big believer that Singapore is a small country, but we can make a huge impact.
Yeah, I think I'd like to comment the event that happened on Saturday night. So Music Matters has been in Singapore for 8 years, and Hong Kong before that. But when we had showcases on the main stage in Clarke Quay for the first few years, it was kind of awkward where various government organizations would say to us, you need to have Singaporean artists on the main stage. And to be honest, there were not Singapore artists that were international ready. You know, when we first came here, anyone who's Singaporean will know that the only international ready band they were called Electrico. And they were great, but you couldn't keep having Electrico coming back again and again representing Singapore. And so Hugo supported John and Zendel to put on a Made in Singapore showcase on Saturday night on the main stage, 8:30 till 11:30, and it was absolutely jammed. And anyone who's ever been involved in Music Matters in Singapore had we had a little bit of dust flying through the stage, because these artists absolutely, we've got a video. There's no audio on it because it's too soon. Well, there shouldn't be any audio. Oh, there is audio. Okay. But they owned it, and they deserved to be there, and it was wonderful to see. So we all had a wonderful time. I don't even know how long this video goes for, but maybe we'll just...
Shouldn't it be easy to let go knowing you've got somebody?
And we had our own beer.
It's taken me so long. I know it now, drinking too much and now my vision's blurry. I'm trying to, but I'm not strong. Lost to the late night, I'm losing to you right now. Dying for love like watching the flame go out. Dying for love like won't let it go. Why do you have to tear my heart in two? Play with fire and you'll get burned. 'Cause I'll never love. Dying for love like this. Dying for love like this. I'm losing to you right now. Dying for love like watching the flame go out. Dying for love like won't let it go. Why do you have to tear my heart in two? Play with fire and you'll get burned. 'Cause I'll never
John.
love. Dying for love like this. Got me dying for love like this. Got me dying like this. Dying for love like. Got me dying like this. Dying for love like this. Got me dying for love like this. Dying for love like.
What's up? Make some noise for Hugo in the house.
So yeah, but thank you. I mean, you know, it's not because of Music Matters or Hugo that Singapore now can perform on the global stage. But it was thanks to you we could do that showcase, and they owned it, and it was absolutely fantastic. Thank you for doing that. And a brilliant example of you supporting local. This wasn't just global stars and stuff. You had local Singaporean artists on stage. We've got a little bit of time left. Does anyone have any questions for Stephen? You've got to have questions. You know this happens all the time. If we say, does anyone have a question? No one asks questions. When we don't do questions, then everyone complains that we don't do questions. No questions? No questions? We might even finish a little early. Oh, we have a question.
Hi, Gabby from WARC. You talked a lot about how you work with sports people and music producers. When it comes to leveraging on these partnerships from a marketing and advertising outreach perspective, could you share more about how Hugo Boss has built out that kind of infrastructure and channels?
Okay, that's a very good question. First of all, we have been dealing with sports stars and all kinds of celebrities for, I would say, 50, 60 years now. So we have a wealth of knowledge on how to negotiate with them, how to talk to them. But for me and my team, we do have 50-page contracts that we try to avoid. And what we do is that we need to know that they are engaged. We need to know, in fact, our contracts are quite loose because I don't need 10 posts every month. I don't need you to make a special. There are some guidelines that we set, I think certain amount of appearances, but we genuinely believe that if you bring the right person in, they will want to be part of you anyway. And I think this has been our biggest approach managing a lot of these artists. Of course, there are also challenges that we face. One, with Joseph, for example, he's going for his next Olympics next year. He trains 2 hours in the morning. He does for physio 2 hours in the afternoon and trains 2 hours at night. So we need to balance that commitment from him as well to make sure that we are working around him. And at the same time, when there's a real need that, hey, Joe, we really need you to not do the video in 2 hours because I think I'd rather get it done in one take. I think that they can be very accommodating if you have this very good understanding with them. And I think that the last thing I want to do is take a piece of contract and go like, hey, you're committed to do this, because then I think that's pretty much the end of the relationship. So my team has learned to be has gotten, in fact, very close to all the people that we work with. And I think that it's the best way. And so far, we've never had any bad experiences. And if you manage it right from the start, the expectations, then I think that everything else is going to be smooth sailing.
It's a great answer. Our time is up, but look, it's been fabulous working with you and your team over the last few weeks, but also listening to what is a brilliant story of a global brand supporting local talent and athletes, and that matters to us all. The world needs more brands like Hugo Boss, I'd say. What I've learned from today is, we talked about being great partners at the beginning, and from Wenji's session, you're looking for organic, you're looking for brand loves. They have to love you and you have to love them, and you're championing local. So you get that mix right, then equals great partners. So Stephen, you've been a great partner. Thank you so much for coming today and everything you've done.
Thank you very much.